What's going on, everybody? Welcome to The Shift on YouTube with Francisco Rojas. Look, it's very late. It's very late right now on the East Coast. We're approaching midnight. But listen, I had to get this video done because of the subject matter. If you know me, if you've watched my videos and whatnot, you know I love statistics, analytics in baseball. And analytics, the term analytics, since it's gotten into the mainstream part of baseball within the last 15 to 20 years, especially when it's at the forefront in baseball where front offices are using them. Every front office is at this point. Analytics, sabermetrics, StatCast, whatever. I love all of them. It's time to stop using the term analytics. Baseball wise, look, other sports I'm going to get into, other sports use the term analytics. It is time for baseball to stop using the term analytics. It is not good for the sport anymore. And look, I'm going to get into it, but before we get any farther, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, share it out on Twitter, out on social media, wherever. But also go make sure you check out my last video. I talked about the Atlanta Braves, Michael Harris winning Rookie of the Year, Spencer Strider finishing second, and about how the Braves just have the formula to run the National League East for years to come, and it's teams like them, it's teams like the LA Dodgers, the Houston Astros, who just have that formula to consistently win for years. And we're seeing it with the Astros, just won the World Series. No, the Dodgers, they didn't get it done. They didn't get it done in the playoffs this year, but come on, they're an NL West and almost a National League dynasty, if you could. But regardless, go make sure you check out that video. I'm going to have the link to the description below. So go make sure you check that out and share it and do all that stuff as well. So this video, though, talking about analytics in baseball, it's time to stop using the term analytics. Man, it's time. If we can find like a new term to refer to these things, not find, like they exist. Like, what are analytics? What are they? It's information, or they're statistics is what they are. Why can't they just exist under one umbrella? Why can't they just exist under one umbrella? And this actually just came to mind because I randomly was watching Jason Kendall on Talking Baseball from like a couple of years ago. I mainly wanted to watch it because he was talking about how they pick the Gold Gloves, and I definitely want to make a video on that at some point as well. But he basically described it as like, man, I wish this should always be under one umbrella. Why do we have to say analytics or saber? Like, why? And I get sabermetrics, I get all that, but why can't they just be all under one umbrella? It's either, for me, it's either information or statistics, whichever one you want to use. In baseball, analytics, look, other sports like football, basketball, they can use them. You know why? Because they're not killing. I'm not saying analytics is killing baseball. That's not what I'm saying. But other sports, they're doing okay, even with, the term analytics being used in those sports. Baseball is not a sport. Like, analytics is such a bad stigma in baseball that it just needs to be diehard baseball fans in general, if you're a fan of baseball, like, can we stop using the term analytics? And don't get me wrong, I love the analytics. Yes, I love analytics. And that goes from the old statistics to the new ones now. They've all been around. The crazy part is, I'm going to point out, shout out to Blake Williams from Dodgers Nation. I don't know if he's still with them, but this article is from like 4 years ago. He talked about, like, analytics have been around since baseball started. It's like, yeah, you might say, no, they haven't. Like, yeah, they have. Analytics are just a fancy term for statistics. That's all they are. It's analyzing. Think about it. Analyze. Analytics. It's the same freaking word. It's the same thing, pretty much. Okay? So, it's been around forever. I mean, look, The box score started in the mid 1800s. The RBI was terrible statistic, by the way, nowadays. But RBI is what came out in 1907, and then we started using batting average. I think Henry Chadwick, I believe, was the first to use batting average. Like, statistics have been around forever. Analytics have been around forever. They have just evolved. Like, this whole advanced analytics and stuff. It's just people found new ways, or, you know, and I guess it's up to your preference or your opinion, better ways to, you know, place value on players or teams. And that's all it is. That's all sabermetrics or analytics were. It was just trying to find objectively better ways to, you know, find whatever you want to call it, find a player's or a team's value. That's what this is about, man. It's all under the same umbrella. Information or statistics. That is what it should be. That is what this is about. Okay, man. It's evolved over the last 200 years in baseball. Like, they've been around forever. I know it sounds weird to say, but, and just real quick on like the new ones we have, the newer ones we have, wins above replacement. And this is another point I wanted to make. Like, I know it's not like, you can look at some of the calculations for this stuff and like, oh, it's a lot, like WAR and WOBA, and like, man, that's a lot of calculating. That's too much work. But man, you can look it up and you can find pretty simple definitions on these things. Like, I mean, look, at the end of the day, man, WAR just takes, like, I'll give you a simple definition on WAR. WAR it takes the most important, I guess it depends on if you're looking at Baseball Reference or Fangraphs. You're taking the most important statistics for either a hitter or a pitcher, and you blend them into one, and there you go, wins above replacement. And it's pretty easy, right? Wins above replacement level player. It takes a minute to look that up. People are acting like, oh man, I don't want to, like, dude, it's not that hard. It's not that hard to just do a little bit of research on it. It's pretty simple. Like, weighted on base average. Like, I'm sure you know about on base percentage. You've seen Moneyball.
We'll be lucky to get 60 games out of him. Why do you like him?
Because he gets on base.
WOBA is just, it just takes on base percentage a step further, and just I'll just give you straight out of MLB.com's glossary. Like, WOBA is a version of on base percentage that accounts for how a player reached base. Instead of simply considering whether a player reached base, the value for each method of reaching base is determined by how much the event is worth in relation to projected runs scored. Example, a double is worth more than a single. Easy. It's not hard. It's not hard to understand. I understand, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to sit here and talk about the calculation. It is a lot. But there are simple definitions for this stuff. Like, oh, I get that. Oh, that's probably better than on base percentage, or that's probably better than batting average. Like, duh. Okay, so I'm not going to sit here and go off on that. That's not why I made this video for. It's just the fact that everything is calculated, right? Like, batting average is calculated. RBI is a calculation. The pitcher win. I mean, I don't want to talk about the pitcher win. Like, all these statistics are all calculations, right? And all these newer stats are they're just newer stats with newer calculations. That's all they are. I can't. I'm honestly, even just in general, not even. I'm just tired of the term. I think that it should all just be under one umbrella. But baseball is just a sport that, like I said, unlike other sports, it would be better for the sport to get rid of the term, because I think, man, you know, anytime I hear analytics and people talking about it in baseball, look, I work in sports radio. I hear callers, hosts, even. It's just such a negative, especially when it comes to baseball, because baseball, it's 2022. It's a slow sport. It's not ideal for the current landscape of society right now in America. Like, as far as it, you know, with hockey and basketball and football, like, you know, faster sports. I mean, hockey is just, it's different, just because, you know, it's more of a, you know, it was a more popular sport in Canada than it was, that it is in America, but still nonetheless a major sport. Like when it comes to basketball and football, them being the two mainstream major sports in America, like they don't have this problem because they're exciting sports to watch from a from I guess faster pace and a little more action, right? So like if anything, baseball is the one sport that we need to get rid of abolish the term. Like I don't care about the other sports because they're doing okay, but I want to see baseball get back to mainstream prominence, and of course that it's not gonna happen anytime soon. But I would like to make progress. Like we need to stop. We need to get rid of the term analytics and just stop saying it. Of course, it's still going to exist. Like the word exists, but like we need to stop saying it in broadcasts and in interviews and online. Like of course, Twitter. Baseball fans on Twitter are going to say what they're going to say. I understand it, but I just think we need to be mindful of, if you want to see the sport go forward and keep going and keep getting better, like this is something that, I'm sorry, man. Like I think we just need to get rid of it. I think we need to get rid of it. And I love analytics. Again, I love it, but we need to get rid of it. But I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you. You tell me, like, what do you think? What's your opinion? Are you okay with term analytics? Would that have any? Would baseball have any bit of a different perspective from people who don't watch baseball going forward? Because it's such a bad stigma on the sport. Do you think it's that big of a deal, or am I just making too much of a fuss of this? Because I can understand that. I can understand that, but I just, I heard Jason Kendall say that, and I thought, man, look, my channel, I'm all about growing, like trying to think of ways and look and analyze different ways of how we can get baseball back to mainstream prominence in the right direction. That's why it's called The Shift. Even though they're abolishing the shift this year, which I'm happy about. I don't know why I haven't made a video on that yet this year, about the shift. Maybe I'll talk about that once it gets closer to the season starts. But I want to know from you, man. You tell me your thoughts. Tell me your thoughts. Is there another term we should be using that I didn't mention about information or statistics? Like, what would you rather use? Are you cool with analytics? Does it have nothing to do with anything? Like, tell me. Tell me in the comments, please. Here. Right here. Tell me in the comments. Also on Twitter, @Rojas_media_. It's going to be like right there. I can't, apparently I'm blind even with glasses on. Go there and talk to me on Twitter. I would love to know your thoughts. I'm going to get some sleep. It's almost midnight. Peace out.